And I will share the screen. Okay, so this first Kandika is giving us the introduction of the 6 students who have come. So it is Sukesha Bharadwaj, Shaibya Satyakama, Sauryayani Gargya, Kaushalya Ashwalayana, Bhargava Vedarbhi, Kabandhi Katyayana. These are the 6 students. Now, little bit I want to tell you about the Sanskrit part as well, because it is so interesting. See, in Sanskrit, in our own languages, if you see, there are very few root words which are which start with a, o. Okay, sometime just think about it. A, o. You know, I, u, a, o. So a, o. These are called vridha matras. So these are there are very few words which begin with that. So if you find at the beginning of the word any of these, then there is a good chance that it is what is called as a tadit word, which means a noun created from a noun. So the original noun gives you some meaning which this noun is based upon. So typically it is based upon the parent, the father or the mother. Mother's name, for example, Kunti. Kunti's son is called Kaunteya. You're all familiar with that. Then father, Pandu's son are called Pandavas. Kuru, Kuru Vansh, that is Gotra of Kuru or Vansh, the lineage of Kuru dynasty. Those children are called Kauravas. So this is the kind of linkage which is there. So if you see a, o in a word, in a name, 95% chances are that it is referring to a noun made out of a noun. So there is something which we can understand from it. The other word would typically be the word of the person, the name of the person. So for example, here we have Sukesha Bharadwaja. So can anybody guess which word should be linked to a family or a gotra or a place or something like that?
Bharadwaja?
Bharadwaj, correct. So the son of Bharadwaja will be called Bharadwaja. So Sukesha is the name of the boy. These are actually all youngsters. By boy, of course, I mean they might be 23, 24 kind of a thing. And he is the son of Bharadwaj. Now let us proceed. Satyakamaha Shaibya. So Satyakama is his name and he is the son of Shibi. Then Sauryayani Gargya. Now both these have the Vriddha Matra. So actually both could be these lineage based names. But let us take it as Sauryayani is the original name and Gargya, that means he belongs to the lineage of Garga. Then Kaushalya, Ashwalayana. So again, you can see both have Vriddha Matras in it. So the one belonging to, actually this should be Kausalya. This is a little bit, there are differences in rendering. So this is Shaibya is read as Shaivya in certain places and Kausalya is read as Kaushalya. But Kosala is the Desh. So you would have heard of that Kosala Desh which was there. And Kausalya, Kaushalya, Ramchandraji's mother, because she came from Kosala Desh. Okay, maybe both names are okay, Kosala or Koshala. So the person originating in that place will be called Kaushalya or in feminine Kaushalya, who was the grandson of Rishi Ashwal. Then Bhargavaha Vedarbhi. So Bhargava of the Bhrigu Gotra who came from Vidarbha Rajya. Then Kabandi, that is his original name, and Katyayana, who was the grandson of Katya Rishi. Okay, so these six um, came to uh, Pippalad Muni. They were Brahmapara. They themselves, the six seekers, were Brahmapara. That means they considered Brahma, God, to be the supreme. Also, Brahma could mean the Vedas. Okay, so either God or Vedas, both they considered supreme. Please don't get too hassled with too many meanings of words. This is a thing with Sanskrit that, as I told you, since it comes from roots, it can have a number of meanings as well. So this is the beauty of Sanskrit. Brahmanishtha, they were situated in Brahma. They were intent upon discovering Brahma. So looking for that para Brahma, that means the Lord. Since now this para has come, it actually means, it can only mean God, and it cannot mean the Vedas here. So looking for para Brahma, they come to, they think that, oh, this Maharshi Pippalad we have heard about, he will be able to tell us everything. That means all the doubts that we have, he will be able to clear. So they take samidha. These are the small firewood which is there by which you perform yajnas. They take bunches of that in their hand and go to Maharshi Pippalad, who's called Bhagavan Pippalad. So a number of things which you have to notice over here. Firstly, let us just see this Bhagavan adjective or epithet which is given to Pippalad. Don't get confused. Bhagavan means the one who is rich in something. Okay, so for example, here Pippalad is rich in knowledge. So therefore, he is called Bhagavan. It is a term of respect. If you have read Mahabharata and Ramayana, you will find that many people are addressed by Bhagavan. So just some people say because Krishna is addressed as Bhagavan, therefore it means he is the Lord. There's a lot of difference between God and any human entities. So Pippalad is addressed as Bhagavan. Then Samit Pani. This Samit Pani holding Samida in their hands is a very ancient tradition, because in performing daily yajnas, daily homas, morning and evening, they had to be performed. So they were always performed, of course, in the ashramas of these rishis. They were performed by householders every day, and they helped to keep the atmosphere clean. And it was considered a duty that if you are consuming things from nature, then you have to give back to nature. You have to remove that much toxins which you are producing. And that is why it was so clean in those days. You could breathe normally, you could drink water from the streams, etc. Anyway, so they brought this firewood which could be used in the sacrificial fires, as it was always required. So this was considered as a sign of humility and devotion, that I want to be your student. Okay, so they always approached the uh, rishi with Samit Pani. And then that this here you see these words ha and where. These are parts of old Sanskrit which you will typically find in these Aranyakas, Brahmanas, and Upanishads. And both of them imply that definitely, okay, for sure, it was well known. All those meanings are understood by her and where. Where will become here, or only you will see in this Upanishad, will become va sometimes when there is sandhi, but otherwise. So here, for example, Esha Tat Sarvam Vakshatiti. He will tell us everything for sure. It is certain that he will be able to tell us all our whatever doubts we are having, he will be able to resolve for us. Okay, let us move to the next one. Okay, please unmute yourself. We shall chant this. Tanha sa rishirvacha
ऋषिर्वाच
bhuya eva tapasa brahmacharyena
भूय एव तपसा ब्रह्मचर्येण
श्रद्धया संवत्सरं संवत्स्यथ
श्रद्धया संवत्सरं संवत्स्यत
यथा कामं प्रश्नान् पृच्छत
यथा कामं प्रश्नान् पृच्छत
यदि विज्ञास्यामः सर्वं हवो वक्ष्यामः इति
यदि विज्ञास्यामः सर्वं हवो वक्ष्याम इति.
Right. Okay. Can mute yourself. So that
can you please break it into smaller pieces
okay.
next time?
Sure. Okay. So to them the rishi said, please stay here in my ashram for one more year, performing more tapa, more brahmacharya, more with more shraddha. Please stay for 1 year, samvatsaram, samvatsyata, stay. After that 1 year, you can ask me whatever questions you have in your mind. If I know the answers, then I will tell you. So one thing to be noted, this I am giving little Sanskrit snippets for you also, that he firstly he says, if we know, then we will tell. Okay, so that could be because he wants to use himself in plural, or he's saying me and my teachers. Okay, but on the other hand, when you wanted to give extra respect to a teacher, for example, then they were addressed in plural. This you definitely find in Hindi. I'm not very sure about other languages, but in Hindi, you will use plural for respect. So that is such an old tradition which is continuing till now. And here also you will find in this Upanishads that Rishi Pipalad will be addressed in the plural too. Then the other thing which you can see, he says that if we know, then we shall tell you. So that is another thing which is showing the humility of this great sage who is well known, and these 6 students have collected together and come to ask him something, but he is still so humble that he says that I don't know everything. There may be something which you might ask which I do not know. No, this is actually the quality of a real scholar. That scholar will be very clear that there are a lot of things that I don't know, because as you know more and more, you come to know more of what is to be known and what you don't know. This is really how it works. Even in our life, you would see that when you are a child, you are very, very clear that this is right, this is wrong. And if somebody asks you, is this right, is this wrong? You are like 100% clear. Yes, Papa said this, Mummy said this is right, this is wrong. As you become a teenager, you start having doubts and you start thinking, maybe in this situation, that thing could be correct. And then by the time you reach a little bit beyond like my age, you start doubting everything which you know. So this is what happens when you come to know more. You come to know that there are so many things which you don't know. So this is another example of how humble the sage is. Then why does he ask these people to stay? Or before that, let me say tapa, brahmacharya and shraddha. So tapa is, of course, austerity, but these are physical austerities. So you have less food, less to drink, you sleep on a hard floor, get up early, go to sleep little late. So these are all tapas which are related to the body. Then brahmacharya. Brahmacharya is literal meaning is chastity, but it implies all mental austerities. So all mental forbearances are covered under brahmacharya. You control all your desires and stay focused. Shraddhaya. Now here this Shraddha means that you stay here believing in Vedas and the practices of the Vedas, but also in the fact that the sage will come back to you and will answer your questions. So all your teachings which you have learned so far, please continue those with full faith and stay here. So now, why did the Rishi ask them to stay for 1 year, which seems a very long time in today's time, but it was considered a fairly short time in those days. So this was a practice which was followed in those times. The sages, whenever you went as not at entry level where you entered at childhood, but at a later age you came to ask some particular things and or learn some particular subjects, then the sage would first ask you to reside in the ashram for a given period of time. This had two purposes. One was that the sage would see how you behave, what you do. So he would gauge from your living with the ashramites what your level of knowledge is, what your level of faith is. What do you believe in Brahma? Do you not believe in Brahma? Do you believe in the Vedas? Do you not believe in the Vedas? So all those kind of things he would be able to gauge while you were staying over there. And if he did not, or even your character, if he felt that there was something evil about you, then he would not give this the highest of all the knowledge, that is the spiritual knowledge, to that student. Upanishad after Upanishad says that this mystic knowledge should not be given to each and every person. You should take a supatra, a person who is worthy of this knowledge only should be given this knowledge. Of course, we don't follow it these days, and I'm also giving this to you without judging you. Hopefully, you're all okay. But this was one of the primary purposes why the sage would ask them to wait in the ashram. Other thing was also that that student would spend 1 year. He would see the classes going on in the ashrama, and he would see the sage preaching. They would listen to all that. He may not feel that the sage is worthy of his respect, and so he would leave the ashrama and say that no, I am wasting my time here. So that gave him time also to develop some faith in the teacher. You see, so it was a two-way street, and this was a common practice which was followed in those days. So that is also what the Rishi told these 6 students. See, there are 6 students coming together also indicates that they had probably been discussing together and realized that we don't have the answers to these questions. So they all got together and said, no, let us go and get all our doubts cleared by this sage once and for all. Okay, so now continuing, you can please unmute yourself and we will chant this. Okay, maybe we should end here. Let me end here. Do you have any questions? We will continue from here next time, from the third. Please tell me, do you have any questions?
Uttara?
Yeah.
Is there any way that the context is set in terms of what the students are expecting in terms of 6 people coming together, and then what?
So they are obviously asking about something related to Brahma only. That is
Okay.
that is understood that they are spiritual seekers and they have come to this spiritual place to understand some spiritual doubts.
Okay.
So that is
Thank
not
you.
covered here. But as you will see, as the questions come, you will understand exactly what they wanted to ask. Okay. So let me stop this share and I will share that other Shanti part. Okay. Please chant after me. Please unmute yourself and please chant. Om Shraddham Pratarhavamahe.
Om Shraddham Pratarhavamahe.
Shraddham Madhyam Dinam Pari.
Shraddham Madhyam Pari.
Shraddham Suryasya Nimruchi.
Shraddham Suryasya Nimruchi.
Shraddhe Shraddhapayehana.
Shraddhe Shraddhapayehana.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti.
Okay. Anything else you would like to ask me?
Nothing as of today, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Bye.
See you then. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.